Well, in Toronto, an illustration this morning that the rental market is no prettier. You know Shannon Martin. She's been on our show many times, primarily with CBC Toronto now, but it's good to see you here in studio. If you go online to our website, you will find that by far the most viewed column is what Shannon has written. Here's the title: No Fixed Address, How I Became a 32-Year-Old Couch Surfer. It's an incredible story. So thank you for coming in to tell us more about it.
You're welcome. And I mean, I do kind of feel myself blushing a bit because it's a bit embarrassing to admit that. But it's a conversation that I'm having time and time again, anytime I go out with friends. Where do you live? How much are you paying? Are we going to start commuting? What does our life look like?
Exactly. And so you turned it into this story, and it begins with your own individual experience of a humongous rent increase. Let's start there. When you were paying, back in the day, when you were paying, what, $16.50?
Right. So it started at $16.50. I moved in January 2016. Great little spot. I could walk to work right downtown in the core. My lease renewal came, and I anticipated a bump in rent because it's downtown, you expect it. But when I opened the email, it said $950 a month.
Increase. More than 50%.
Oh, yes. And so I laughed because that's kind of what you do in horror. Sent it right away to a friend of mine who helped me find the apartment in the first place and said, this is a joke, right? Maybe they made a mistake. Maybe this was for the entire year. My rent went from $1,650 to $2,600 a month.
Ouch. And what did you do?
Everyone I talked to said, no way, Shannon, make calls. This is not legal. This can't be. People who had lived in Toronto a lot longer than I had. So I did what we're told to do. I called the tenant and landlord phone number, hotline, explained the situation to the guy. He said, okay, there's forms you can fill out. Here's how you can make a complaint. And then he asked where I lived. And he said 2 words to me: you're screwed.
Really?
That's
Why?
what the operator said to me. Because he said anybody who lives on the waterfront in the downtown core in a newer building, the rent control protection does not apply.
Okay, so that's under 25 years, newer buildings.
Under 25 years. It's this guideline. Buildings newer that were built after 1991, rather, have no rent protection in the city of Toronto.
So because they can, and we talked about what the housing, to buy a home, it's prohibitive for most people or many people. The rental market is just as hot. So if they can get it, they'll charge it?
They can, absolutely. And I certainly know that my example is an extreme. I don't think this is happening a lot, but a lot of people are seeing their rent go up 30%. And somebody said to me, why don't you try to negotiate? Maybe they'll only increase it $300 a month. But at $300 a month, I still can't afford that. I am already paying 60% of my paycheck to put a roof over my head. And that's just the reality of living in Toronto. So it started a conversation in our newsroom. As I mentioned, a lot of us are talking about it. So we said, let's look deeper into this and start a conversation with the decision makers in the city of Toronto.
And with people to share their experiences. Before I get to that, though, what have you decided to do?
I'm couch surfing, as I said. For sure, so right now I'm house sitting for a CBC colleague, which is lovely. She's traveling for a month. So I've got a sweet little apartment that I'm staying in. I put everything in storage, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly to do. So I am couch surfing by choice, and I certainly don't want to have anyone feel sorry for me because I do make a living wage.
We've got a great job. We have we have a certainly good wages, but it just speaks to the broader issue, and it's not Shannon Martin exclusive, as you've discovered in conversations and hearing from viewers. This is a problem citywide.
Yes, and the emails, thank you to everyone who's been responding to this. Shannon, I woke up, I'm drinking my coffee with my partner. Our rent is the same as our daycare. We cannot breathe. And these are people saying, yes, we both work. I picked up a part-time job. We don't know how to make it work anymore. And so that's really what we're trying to tap into. And so starting next week, we're going to have 10 full days of coverage on CBC Toronto. We're throwing a dinner party. We're inviting people to come join us. So renters in the situation, but we've also invited the Mayor of Toronto because we know there has to be something happening. And I think there are a lot of grassroots things underway and a lot of great ideas in this city, but it's about making them happen. So the people that want to work hard and want to live here can do so.
He's been a big proponent for bringing people downtown, but if you
He
can't
has.
live, I mean, as you have suggested in your online piece, if you, with a good wage, think about students, think about single moms
Yes,
or people
exactly.
working more than one job.
And what we're hearing is people having to live in conditions that would turn your stomach. So they have somewhere to live, but it's awful. You know, they have to fight about heat. You know, they have to go to a landlord that needs to make repairs who aren't doing it. So these are the kind of situations that we do want to uncover as well, because yeah, there's a lot happening in our city around
There
this.
sure is. Well, bravo to you for telling your story and
Oh,
for
thank you.
opening a conversation that we're certainly extending, and perhaps change coming as a result of
Let's
that.
hope.
So we'll follow along to see what happens next after this series of stories. And if you want to read more about Shannon's own personal account, as I said, on our website and getting views by the thousands, front page, cbc.ca/Toronto. And as Shannon mentioned, putting this into a whole series of programming on CBC Toronto. So if you have a story to share, email her, join the conversation on Facebook. You just follow the links online. Thanks very much.